This is ERi-TV. Dear viewers, welcome to English News Broadcast with me, Bersabe Tagle. These are the major headlines for today. Workshop on gathering environmental information at Asmara Palace. Commendable environmental sanitation activity in Hamel Malo subzone. Iran rejects Western drone allegations. And Chad floods leave victims in despair. On your local reports, the Ministry of Land, Water and Environment, in cooperation with Global Monitoring for Environment Security and Africa Regional Center for Mapping of Resources for Development, organized a workshop focusing on environmental monitoring and appraisal on 18 and 19 October at Asmara Palace. The objective of the workshop, in which representatives of partner ministers, institutions and associations took part, was to gather concise information on the activities being carried out at national level and generate ideas that could help address challenges. In his keynote address at the workshop, Mr. Tesfai Gebrselassie, Minister of Land, Water and Environment, said that the objective of the workshop is to support the objective national, regional and global monitoring for environment and security initiative with technology, and called on nationals to become beneficiaries of the information and play due role in the environmental preservation and safety. Mr. Aman Saleh, coordinator of the workshop and head of environmental information and promotion at the ministry, on his part said that the objective of the workshop was, in cooperation with partners, to identify the existing environmental information gaps and put in place information technology with a view to gather concise information. Mr. Stephen Sande and Mr. Teddy Mwangi, representatives of Regional Center for Mapping of Resources for Development, that comprises 14 East African countries, said that the mission of the center is to gather information with a view to address environmental challenges and impediments through applying information technology. The Regional Center for Mapping of Resources for Development encompasses Eritrea, Ethiopia, Sudan, Djibouti, Comoros, Madagascar, Tanzania, Kenya, Mauritius, Rwanda, Seychelles, Somalia, South Sudan, and Uganda. Residents of several villages in Hamel Malo subzone are carrying out environmental sanitation activities with a view to control the prevalence of communicable diseases in general and that of malaria in particular. Mr. Meron Estefanos, head of public health in the subzone, said that environmental sanitation activity is one of the priority programs in the subzone and that, compared to that of last year, community-based environmental sanitation has risen to 100%. Mr. Meron went on to say that as a result of the sustainable environmental sanitation activity, the prevalence of communicable diseases has significantly been reduced. The residents on their part said that they have been exposed to various communicable diseases due to the lack of sanitation, and that with sustainable environmental sanitation activities they have been conducting, they have been able to ensure their health. Similarly, praiseworthy environmental sanitation activities have been conducted in the administrative areas of Jemhele, Derbushet, Dehil, Rora, and Desse Dahlak subzones. At a meeting conducted from 10 to 13 October, the residents declared that they have fully implemented the community-based environmental sanitation program. Pointing out the achievement registered was as a result of the integrated awareness-raising activity on the part of the Ministry of Health, area administrators as well as partners, Mr. Ahmed Bukalia, administrator of the subzone, called for reinforced participation for better outcome. Proceeding with your news, a meeting focusing to strengthen organizational capacity of youth workers has been organized in Maimene subzone. At the meeting, a new executive committee was elected, pointing out that implementation of chartered out development programs, could be realized with strong organization and commitment. Mr. Yamane Medhane, head of the National Union of Eritrean Youth and Students branch in the subzone, called on the newly elected to become exemplary. Lieutenant Colonel Abraham Haile, administrator of the subzone, on his part, expressed readiness of the subzonal administration to stand alongside the union branch in all its endeavors. At the event, certificates of appreciation had been handed over to the outgoing members of the executive committee. On your last local report, we have an announcement from the Ministry of Health. 3 patients have been diagnosed positive for COVID-19 and tests carried out today at testing station in the central region. On the other hand, 1 patient who has been receiving medical treatment in a hospital in the central region has recovered fully and has been discharged from the facility. The total number of recovered patients has accordingly increased to 10,078, while the number of deaths stands at 103. The total number of confirmed cases in the country to date has increased to 10,185. Ministry of Health, Asmara, October 19, 2022. Dear viewers, do stay with us for the international news after the short break. Welcome back. Iran rejects Western drone allegations by claiming in a statement that since the beginning of the crisis in Ukraine, the Islamic Republic of Iran has taken a clear, consistent and unwavering position, emphasizing that all UN member states must fully respect the purposes and principles enshrined in the United Nations Charter as well as the international law. The statement comes amid repetitive Western accusations of Iran selling combat drones to Russia amid a raging war in Ukraine. Several European countries, along with the United States, have claimed that the alleged Iranian drone sales violated United Nations Security Council Resolution 2231, which enshrined the 2015 Iran nuclear deal, officially known as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. The Iranian mission to the UN said these allegations are categorically false and that it strongly condemns unfounded and unsubstantiated claims by delegations like Germany about selling unmanned aerial vehicles for use in the Ukraine conflict. Such unfounded claims, according to Iran, are nothing more than a propaganda apparatus launched by certain states to further their political agendas. On today's last report, one of the poorest and most arid states in the world, the landlocked nation of Chad, has been hit by exceptional floods that have affected hundreds of thousands of lives. And the beleaguered capital of N'Djamena, a field of tents has sprung up to provide emergency shelter, and victims are striving to salvage what they can from the ruins of their homes. According to an AFP journalist, in Walia, a poor neighborhood to the south of the city, dozens of homes were ravaged last week after the Chari River burst its banks following torrential rains. Water levels rose up to 5 meters, which local officials said was unprecedented, and swept aside makeshift defenses erected by desperate inhabitants. Since the end of June, more than 340,000 people in Chad have been hit by floods, and this is according to provisional UN reports. Dear viewers, you're still watching us on ERi-TV, and now recap of today's major headlines. Workshop on gathering environmental information at Asmara Palace. Commendable environmental sanitation activity in Hamel Malo subzone. Iran rejects Western drone allegations. And Chad floods leave victims in despair. That was it for today, dear viewers. Thanks for watching.